Let's start with chapter number 6 from your economics book of grade 10, and the name of the chapter is The Theory of Demand. And today we are going to study this chapter as per the bifurcated syllabus and the reduced syllabus. We are going to study this chapter. So let us first understand what is the concept. What is the concept of demand? Okay, whenever we want to buy or we are having a desire to buy a commodity, in common terms we will say that is a demand, but in economics they're adding a purchasing power, that is a effective demand. So effective demand means desire for a commodity plus purchasing power. If somebody is just having a desire and not the purchasing power, we will say that is a want, that is not a demand. Demand means a person who is having the desire to buy that commodity or that item, and that person is having the purchasing power also. So that is called demand or a effective demand. So there are different what is the different concepts of demand, or you can say there are different types of demands actually, and in your syllabus also it is mentioned types of demands. Okay, so the first is income demand. When the demand of any commodity depends only on the income of the consumer, this is called income demand. Okay, basically what do we feel? As the income of the person will increase, the demand for consuming different kind of commodities will also increase, because the person is going to have much more purchasing power from before. If there is a sudden increase in the income, that means the person will have more purchasing power and he will start demanding more commodities. But here we are going to segregate into two categories. The goods are being categorized into two categories. One is the normal good and the other is the inferior good. As the income of a person is increasing, for the normal goods we will find that his demand is also increasing for those normal goods. But for the inferior goods, the goods which quality is not as per his income, okay, he will start feeling that the goods which he was using before, as he is earning more, his income have increased, he will feel that these goods are of not good quality. Now he will try to replace those and buy some other goods. So this is called inferior good. So we can say that if the income is increasing regarding the normal goods, we will find it is having a positive effect, and if the income is increasing regarding the inferior goods, we will find it is having a negative effect, because people are not going to demand, with the increase in income they are not going to demand those inferior goods anymore. Cross demand. If the demand for a commodity depends on the price of related commodity, this is called cross demand. That means the other commodities price is affecting the demand of that particular commodity, like commodity A and commodity B. If commodity B is increasing its price, we are finding the effect on commodity A. This is called cross demand. That means commodity A is not changing its price, it is remaining fixed, but commodity B is changing its price. For that we are finding that the demand of commodity A is either increasing or decreasing. That is a cross demand. Here also we will try to understand with two different kind of goods. One is the substitute goods, other is the complementary good. Okay, so substitute good will be a positively sloping group. What is that? Suppose, say the demand of the cotton shirts may rise due to an increase in the price of the non-cotton shirts. So if you find that suddenly there is a hike in the price, rise in the price of non-cotton shirts, suddenly there is a rise, so we will find that the demand of the cotton shirts have increased. As because the price of the non-cotton shirts have increased, people will start buying the cotton shirts more. So this is substitute goods. People are substituting, in place of non-cotton goods they have started buying the cotton shirts now. In tea and coffee is also a good example. Okay, tea and coffee, if suddenly we find that the price of the tea have got increased, people can opt for coffee. Next is the cross demand. The cross demand curve for complementary goods will be negative slope. Okay, say the demand for petrol driven cars will fall with the increase in the price of the petrol, right? So if you find those are the complementary goods, means those who are buying a car, they have to buy the petrol. So if suddenly we find there is a rise in the price of the petrol, automatically we will find that the demand for the car is decreasing. So it is having a negative effect. Okay, as the price of the petrol is increasing, the demand for the car is decreasing. It is having a negative effect. This is called complementary good. Joint demand. When the demands for different complementary goods are created at time, it would be termed as complementary demand or joint demand. This means whenever we are buying one item, we have to buy the other, otherwise it is going to be useless. Like for example, if you buy only tea, that is going to be useless. With tea, maximum people will buy sugar, right? If somebody is buying a gun, that person have to buy bullets. So those are the joint demands. As we buy one, we go for the second one. That is a joint demand. Number D, composite demand. When any commodity or service is demanded for many alternative uses, this is called composite demand. For example, we can take electricity. Electricity is having alternative uses, so it is having composite demand. This means it is having many uses, so it will always keep, the demand will keep on increasing, whereas supply we will find it is a limited format. Okay, this is a composite. A piece of land, if somebody is having a piece of land, it can be used in a multiple way. Somebody can make a factory, somebody can make a school, somebody can make a house, somebody can make a hospital. It is having many alternative uses. That is a composite demand. Competitive demand. Competitive, that means a competition, you can hear from the term itself. If any commodity or a service has some substitute in the market, then the demand for any of these substitutes would be termed as competitive demand. Okay, for example, we can say that in the same market, when we are having 2 or 3 sellers selling the same kind of product, okay, like we can say the airline companies, so many airline companies are there, right? So in the same, under the same we can say industry, we are finding 2-3 farms are there, or 2-3 manufacturers or producers are there, then we are finding it is a competition is going on. Next is direct demand. Direct demand means if any commodity is demanded for direct consumption, this is called a direct demand. Means whenever we get it from the shop, we can easily directly have it. Okay, no more changes are needed in it. That is called direct demand. For example, we can say bread, butter. All these are direct demand. Derived demand. When the demand of any commodity is derived from the demand of some other commodity, is called the derived demand or the indirect demand. That means somebody is buying a car, will demand for petrol. That is a derived demand. As because they are buying the car, they are demanding for the petrol. So from where it is deriving, it is coming from the car, that the petrol is also coming in demand. So this is derived demand. Notional or ex ante or planned demand. This means we are having a desire to get that commodity or that good or service, but we don't have that purchasing power. We just have the want. People only having the want and not the, you can say, not the purchasing power. That is ex ante or planned demand. And effective or ex post or actual demand. This means that the person is not only having a desire to buy that commodity, but also having the purchasing power to buy that commodity. This is called effective or ex post or actual demand. Factors determining demand of a commodity. First factor is income of a consumer. As we find there is an increase in individual's income, we will find that the purchasing power of that consumer have increased. Okay, next is price of the commodity. So here it's a simple logic. The more the price will increase of a commodity, the demand will start decreasing for that commodity. And the more the price will start decreasing of that commodity, we will find demand for that commodity is rising. So demand and price moves in the opposite direction. Price is increasing, demand is decreasing. And price is decreasing, demand is increasing. We will find it in a opposite direction. The price of a particular commodity also determines the demand of the commodity. If the price of a commodity increases, the consumer purchases less of it. If there is a fall in the price of that commodity, the consumer purchases more of it. Number 3, price of related commodities. Here they are again saying us about the substitute goods and the complementary goods. Suppose somebody wants to have tea and that person finds that the price of the tea is high, so easily that person can opt for coffee. So that is easily substitutable. They are substituting it. Okay, they are not going for tea anymore, they are going for coffee now because the price of the tea is relatively high than the coffee, if that is the scenario. Okay, what is a complementary? Complementary means, suppose if they find that the price of tea is low, so they can, or if they find that the price of the sugar have decreased, so they can consume more of tea because they will find that the making tea or buying the sugar is not costlier anymore, so they can have more tea now. Before they used to have 1 cup, they can have 4 cups in place of that. Taste and preference pattern of the consumer. If the taste and preference pattern moves in favor of a commodity, the consumer purchases more of the commodity. If somebody is launching a commodity and that is liked by the common people, then the demand for that commodity will increase. And if you find that somebody is launching a product and which is not according to the taste of the consumer of that particular country or that particular market, then it will not get sold anymore, right? So according to the taste and preference also it changes. Price expectation. Expectation means we are just assuming or speculating about the future. Suppose if we think that in future the price of gold is going to rise more, that is a very genuine example, that price of gold is rising per year, so not year, every month also it is rising. So if we start speculating that we are having certain amount of money in my hand right now and we feel that the price of the gold is going to rise much more after 5 years or 10 years, then this is the best price right now I am getting, so I will buy more of it. And if I feel the price of the gold is now high but after 10 years it will be very low, that is also an assumption, mere assumption. It can be, it cannot be, but it's just a mere assumption. Then I will not buy now, I will buy it later on. So according to our expectation or speculation, demand is also increasing or decreasing. Factors determining market demand. Pattern of income distribution. If the income of the citizens is distributed equally, or you can say in average way to all the citizens, then all the consumable goods demand will increase and the production will also be increased. But if we find that the income is concentrated in the hands of few only within the nation, only the luxurious items will be demanded. Okay, in the society we will find that the luxurious goods demand is increasing. Next, demographic structure or age distribution of the population. This means that according to the age of the, you can say the average age of the people, the demand for that commodity or the demand within that nation's market also changes. Like for example, if you find that the population have shifted more to the old age, the population is more of old age people, then we will find the demand for the wheelchair, maybe the sticks, medicines, okay, all these things are increasing. But if the population is shifting more towards the young generation, then we will find a demand for car, then sports materials, all these things are coming in demand in that market. So according to the age group also the demand of the country shifts. Hopefully you understood. Until this much only is included in your syllabus for your semester 1. Hopefully you understood. Thank you.